Oh man, I'm so excited. Welcome back, boys. This is the first episode of the season. If you haven't been here before, my name's Rob, and this is Sarah. In this channel, we are rebuilding box boats, boys. I think the marine industry is kind of really missing out. There are a ton of these classic 70s and 80s and 90s hulls that you can get for really cheap, and you go really fast. And we're
they're really pretty.
Yeah, they look cooler than new boats. I don't know what's wrong with boat designers today, but they're just not making anything cool. The goal of this episode is to show you how to replace a floor in one day, which I think is possible. Let's do it. Welcome back to Merc Mondays. I don't know if this is the first episode, but this is the first episode we're making. It has been a while. There have been a lot of comments on the other channel. When are you guys doing boat stuff again? When are you guys doing... Okay, I just
when it stops snowing.
Yeah, like literally a little over a week ago, it snowed. So like...
Wisconsin is terrible.
I love boats. I know a lot of you guys are in Florida, but we have seasons here. So...
And really, really bipolar seasons, too.
Yeah, but now, today is like one of the first really warm days, and what I want to do is start doing boat stuff. So, we're going to uncover this thing, kind of remember what was inside of it, and then we picked up some new seats for this thing. End of last season, we didn't get them installed, but yeah, I know the motor's overheating, but you know, putting the seats in seems really important right now.
I'm really fine with even putting around with an overheating motor as long as it's comfy and pretty and nice and enjoyable. So.
All right, here we are. Starting point. We have a 1987 Mercury Black Max XR2. And that's a 150. It overheats. Some seats. These fishing seats gotta go. Oh yeah, I forgot. I mounted these here. I forgot that I did that. I haven't seen this thing in a while. You just gotta grab it in the right spot?
Grab it in the right spot. Brute force guy wanted to just like cut his way in, but like you just had to grab it in the right spot. Look at that little nub right there. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
Ladies, you get it. And a dime. We're rich.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
I feel like
it's completely not coated. It's just bare wood.
Yeah.
God, these boats are all built like such.
And a lot of the things we were hearing when we were pressing on the floor and hearing cracking, it was just this resin cracking. So actually, the floor isn't great, but it was not what was cracking.
It'd be so easy to do this floor, Sarah.
Well, and honestly, because look, it's truly, we wouldn't even have to do the whole, like we just cut this out. It's freaking cut over here already. Look. Damn it. I got really uppity being like, we are not doing the floor of this boat. This is a leisure boat. This is fine. This is not a go fast. There's nothing wrong with this floor. And I mean, technically, I'm still right. We could just glass over this and give it some structure and it would be freaking fine. Oh, look, the bottle cap says 21 plus.
Remember last year, whenever we drove this thing, the water mysteriously appearing on the side of the boat?
Distinctly, yes, and getting very freaked out.
Yeah, we figured out what it was. So, the idiot that tried to get the water pressure gauge to work on this boat, what they did, instead of buying the correct tubing, is they wanted something fast. So they went to an auto parts store and they got this shock adjustment thing. That was in episode 3. And they tried to just section it together. Yeah, it didn't work. That sucks, because that means whenever we were running the engine, we were just pumping water into the boat.
And would not be that difficult. Like, look, it's all cracked here too. Like, this is clearly one piece of wood tapered in an interesting way, and we'd have to figure out how to match that to mold in a new floor, but I really didn't want to have to do a floor.
We're doing a floor! Alright.
Look at that, baby.
We got our CAD going, cardboard aided design, and we're going to trace the floor onto this template, and that way we can transfer it to a piece of plywood. He's on the GoPro. No, don't go that way. All right, so you want to replace the floor. Why are you replacing the floor? Probably because you spent less money and you bought something cool and old and hopefully fast, right? Because we're not going to restore boats that aren't worth it. We're not going to break rule number 1. Materials. Now first, you're going to need to crack the cold one because this is going to be messy and it's not super fun, but it kind of is if you're slightly buzzed, so let's get into it. Now, the goal of this project is to go 60 miles an hour for under $1,000. So we're going to stick to polyester resin. Now, you can use epoxy. Epoxy's great. It's got a better bond. It's just better, but it costs like 2 to 3 times as much as polyester resin. A lot of dudes will say to use epoxy, but they're basically trying to justify how much they spend. And I don't know if it's necessary. It really depends on what kind of boat you're building. This one is going to have like a carpeted, nice old school interior. It's not something that you're going to leave out in the weather, all right, dudes? If you're going to leave out in the weather, it's like a fishing boat, then maybe go with epoxy or something. But I did my Aristocrat 13 years ago. Floors are still rock solid, and they just have 2 coats of polyester resin on them. Holding up fine. Why? Because to keep the water on the bottom, not in the boat. Pretty simple. So we're going to be using polyester resin. We did splurge a little bit for the floor. Now for the plywood, I went with 1/2-inch marine grade plywood. You can get away with regular plywood too. Do not use treated. You're going to get a crappy bond. Your resin's not going to soak into it. But the difference between marine plywood and regular plywood is that it has way fewer voids, which is good because then if moisture does get into it, it doesn't start rotting out the wood. And it's also going to have an adhesive that's bonding all these layers together that's more water resistant. I think it's going to be 80 degrees on Monday, and I'd really like to get this in the water. We got a lot to do. We have to finish the floor. We have to install an interior. I kind of want to pull the power head again because it's still overheating. I need to fix some other things too. Let's just get started. It should be pretty easy to get this out, I think, but because like, look at this, it's already just, you know, we'll see. Let's dive into it and make some fiberglass dust. So I just cut out the floor. I haven't lifted it up yet, but this is like make or break. It could be bad. I did finish cutting it, and I know the floor is loose. So we're gonna lift it up, and I haven't seen it. I literally haven't seen it. Sarah hasn't seen it. We're gonna film it.
Did you peek and it's bad?
I did not peek.
Okay.
I just
want to say I'm the one who said leave it the hell alone. There's nothing wrong with it right now.
Let's save the drinks. We're not drinking unless it's like good.
Okay.
Please be good. Please be good. No whammies. No whammies. Grab that side. Don't look. Just
Okay.
What am I even looking at?
Don't fuck with that, please. Don't fuck with that, Rob.
This is the original floor, Sarah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Dude, Rob, seriously, there was nothing wrong with it as it was. Literally, nothing fucking wrong with it. We didn't need it to, like, go win races. There was nothing wrong with it. Why did you cut this out? I'm gonna...
Sarah's grabbing her drink right now, and then we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do here. We had to cut for a second while I got explained to.
I had thoughts. We could have just left that piece of plywood that's perfectly intact and not rotten at all and covered it up with a nice new carpet or the flooring that we picked out or something, and instead, you've ruined my boat.
Hop in here. Let's look at it. Maybe it's not so bad.
I have eyes, Rob. You don't get to say maybe it's not so bad.
Can I have a drink?
No. No, you may not.
I need some alcohol.
I'm so mad at you right now.
Let's see. Whoa. Don't step in this area.
Yeah, I have eyes again. This whole thing right there. Admit it.
It would have been way less work to just leave the floor alone. It's been at least a year. We haven't had enough to do. We don't have enough projects.
Now we have 2 boats that we need to finish floors. And by finish, I mean start, because someone just cut out a perfectly good piece of plywood.
Yep. So
it was perfectly glassed in, very nicely,
definitely
and
not nicely
rotten.
or perfectly.
Okay, nicely enough, and not rotten in any way. Honey, stop it.
Jump up and down right there.
I'm gonna pass. Thanks.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. What do you say? I mean, on the one hand, it looks like this subfloor here is going to come up really easily.
Let's hope. And let's hope the stringer's okay, the transom seems fine. It's going to get worse before it's going to get better, right? Gotta stay positive. Time to get dirty. Tearing up this floor, and now I'm getting to the layer of spray foam. So what happened was when the floor got soft, someone drilled some holes into the floor and then just sprayed a bunch of great stuff to try to support the floor. So now we have waterlogged foam everywhere in the floor.
Okay, fine. Before everyone in the comments gives me the, actually, maybe it is good that we pulled this shit up.
Yeah, all right. So Sarah's gonna go get nasty clothes on. We're gonna get dirty together on camera. What we're going to do right now is try to excavate the center here. I've noticed this stringer not in the center of the boat, right here. And there's another one right here, and I'm guessing there might be a middle one right there. I'm just going to slowly remove a section until we figure out what's going on under here. So now that we scored the edges, we're going to rip the floor out. Ready? Fire it up. Time lapse.
Okay, so you remember when folks in the comments were saying, wow, that boat sits pretty low in the water. Are you sure that it's not like a lot of waterlogged foam in there? Hey, Rob, why don't you try to lift up that garbage can? That's full, by the way, and we're not done.
It's like filled with wet cat litter.
Yeah.
And that does not include the extra piece of plywood,
floor,
and
yeah.
we're missing those 2 big pieces of plywood. So
And we're not done.
there's got to be at least, this is probably close
Don't give
to
yourself
100
a hernia,
pounds.
please.
So I'm gonna guess like 100 to 200 pounds of crap, and we're not done yet. All right, so we poured ourselves a drink because as we dug into this, it just got to be worse and worse news. Now, the point of this video, the goal was to install a floor in 1 day, which I think is definitely possible.
Not
but
this floor, though.
in this case, when we pulled out the floor, we found another floor that had holes in it that someone just glassed a new floor over. Who does this shit? Why would you ever do that?
Well, even the quality of like what was clearly work done by the manufacturer was not good. So,
No, I mean,
yeah.
it's all just fiberglass mat. It's not like fiberglass cloth anywhere. It's just, and then the ends of the stringers are just open. You know, just to soak up all that moisture. There's some other issues with this hull. The drain plug on it is about 3 or 4 inches from the bottom of the transom. Because,
Which is factory, right?
Yeah, and they're all like that. And it's because the manufacturer was like, well, no water should ever get under the floor that's filled with foam. That'll just stay dry forever.
And yet.
So you can't even drain the water once it's below the floor. So I don't know how long this water has been in here. This might be like vintage 90s water, you know, like crystal clear Pepsi style.
And I'm really glad that I splattered myself in the face with wet foam a couple of times, and it's all probably really healthy.
We've just been discussing how far we want to take this. The other issue is that the floor itself is soaked. We haven't got all of it out. It goes all the way to the front, and it goes all the way to the transom underneath this gas tank. And in order to pull that out, which we should probably do, then I gotta crawl under there, which I don't really want to do. And then we might look at the transom.
Oh, God.
I just,
Yeah.
this is like a rabbit hole, dude.
To be fair,
the
front, I think, is probably fine. Like, it definitely did get wetter the further back we went. And up there seems pretty good. Even the plywood edge that is, like, exposed to us is not itself wet. So that we could probably leave regardless.
True. I'm
Back here's the dicey bit.
Yeah. And what I'm really worried about is, let's say we just throw a floor in here and glass it over the damp stringers. We're putting fresh wood against damp wood, and then there's tons of dampness back there. And I just, man, I know we can do that temporarily, and I know that it would, and we get the boat back on the water, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's just embarrassing!
You want to know what? I think at the very least, we need to just let this sit in the sun and dry out a little bit more, because...
Can you try it again without the rooster?
I think the rooster's going to keep doing that, babe. I'll give it a whirl, but, like,
Yeah.
I think he knows you're out here, and he has thoughts.
All right, cut two.
All right.
God damn it.
Cheers.
We have to drink every time the rooster makes a noise. That's the new rule.
I don't have that amount of alcohol. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. The stringer that's exposed is getting drier by the minute, and there's... Oh my God. You're not going to leave this in, are you? Oh my God. Anyway, I think this needs to just bake in the sun a little bit and see if the evidence of moisture that we've seen. We need to leave this boat alone to dry out for a couple of days at the very least.
I agree, and I think it's clear what needs to be done here. I just remembered we have an entirely separate project boat. Berta! So, to those who are new to the channel, this is our Sleekcraft SST. I rebuilt this boat. It was actually a lot worse than this. It had an entire ant colony in it. And we rebuilt it with the most advanced composites known to man. It's got honeycomb floors, Coosa stringer, Coosa transom. It's lighter and stronger than it ever was new. It is, it's going to be cool.
We have the technology.
We do, and we rebuilt her, and that was a good build. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. I'll throw a link up here. Super in-depth rebuild on building the coolest, fastest shit you can. So Sarah, you still remember how to sew vinyl, right?
Allegedly.
So this one is ready to be rigged. It just needs an interior and the engine put back together and the steering and maybe some other stuff. I don't even remember. I haven't seen this thing in years. We're going to build something cool though, Sarah. All right? Stay tuned. That was more of a Rick and Morty.
A little bit. It was very Rick and Morty.